Hello, Degens. Welcome to Degenerate Takes NFL Week 1 recap. I, of course, am the perfect one, AJ. Joining me, as always, is the man with the numbers, sportsbook whisperer, college basketball guru, daddy of the diamond. All hail the king of the links, Mr. Noah Engelbretson. Noah, how the hell are you doing today?
Hey Jay, I'm great. It's been a crazy week one so far in NFL, as it almost always is. Nothing ever seems to make sense week one, but hey, we're here for it.
Hey, we're here for it. I'm all about it. No, it was an absolutely crazy weekend with just shit hitting the fan absolutely everywhere. And I want to start with a Super Bowl hangover continuing, and that being the Bengals and the Steelers. Steelers beating the Bengals in overtime 23-20. Just an absolute crazy turn of events that involved many missed kicks in OT, many missed kicks to win the game. And of course, I would say typical Steelers play throughout the day. I don't think this is anything against the Bills. I think the Bills' problems are still the Bills' problems with a weak
Bengals.
offensive line. Yeah, Bengals, Jesus H. Christ. Bengals' problems still are the Bengals' problems with a weak O line and just defense that's solid enough, but not giving Joe Burrow enough time. Even though he threw for 53 times, he only had two touchdowns and 338 yards. The Bengals are going to be okay this year. I think the Steelers looked a hell of a lot better than anyone else suspected to. That defense, bro, is so dirty. Like the Steelers, I think are just always going to have a good defense.
Yeah, and that's why there's still for the 16th year in a row for Mike Tomlin, they are going to finish over 500
Oh yeah,
because of that defense. That offense did not look particularly impressive. They weren't really doing a whole lot as far as moving the ball very successfully. But you win the turnover battle. What was it, 5-0 or 5-1, something like
yeah.
that? You should win. This game probably shouldn't have even gone to overtime, to be honest. But um, yeah, 5-0. They won the turnover battle 5-0 and still squeaked out a 3-point overtime win. It's okay though, because I mean the Bengals are a good team. This was a road game for the Steelers. I don't think their offense is going to be super impressive this year, but their defense is going to keep them in games, and their defense is going to win them games, much like they did Week One.
Yeah, that's going to continue to be a trend, Noah. Let's move to our second overtime game of the week, which I can't believe I'm saying, but we're talking about the Colts and the Texans. Also, our first tie of the year, tying 20-20 in overtime. Lovey Smith and Davis Mills seem to have it figured out there in Texas. And the Colts just seem to be as aimless as they were with Carson Wentz under center. Matt Ryan going 32 for 50 with one touchdown to his name. They just got no one to throw to, bro. You got Jonathan Taylor, you got Michael Pittman Jr., and that's about it.
Yeah, again, like this is why I wasn't super big on the Colts coming into this season. Like they're going to be fine. Either them or the Titans, one of those two teams is going to make the playoffs because they're going to win this division. I don't see this team sending two teams.
Yeah.
Um, Whoever wins this division between Titans and Colts is gonna be 10, maybe 11 wins. Like it's gonna be ugly. I don't think either team is particularly bad, but they're not particularly good. And I feel pretty good about Houston's over for the win total. I mean, that was at like what, 4.5 games, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yep, four
I
and a half,
I
I believe.
I think Houston's gonna maybe rip off 6 or 7 wins this season. Like I they're not gonna be a playoff team, but they
No.
might. I And they didn't win the game, obviously, but I think they're going to be capable of pulling off a couple upsets this season.
Absolutely. And I think they're going to pull off a couple more upsets than my Jaguars are going to do. The Jaguars losing to the Commanders 28-22 in DC. The Jaguars did not look at bad. I think they obviously are still in a developmental phase. They're still growing. They don't look bad. I believe I said they're going to win more than 4 games. I still stand by that. Commanders looked Carson Wentz looked shocking in clutch time. I'm going to leave it at that. I did not expect Carson Wentz to play like that with the game on the line and in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and Wentz looked not I'm not going to go as far as saying he looked great, but he looked somewhere in between decent and good.
Dude,
Not quite
27
good.
for 41, 313 yards, 4 tutties, bro.
I don't want to go as far as saying he looked good, but I think he looked a little bit better than decent.
Hey, I'll take that. And honestly, I can agree with you. Let's talk about another team that without their star quarterback looked better than decent. That being the Cleveland Browns with Jacoby Brissett under center. Obviously, this was supposed to be the Baker Mayfield revenge game. Noah, you and I think, handicapped this one perfectly. It doesn't matter at this point who's under center for the Browns, as long as you have a guy who's not going to turn it over a bunch and have a game manager like Jacoby Brissett until Deshaun Watson can play. Browns are going to stay in games and win games, especially with that unbelievable defense.
Yeah, I still think they're going to be a fringe playoff team,
Yeah,
just because of the length of the suspension. But like they might be all right, and they're going to be probably kind of dangerous if you get Watson back and they're in position to make it to the playoffs. Like they're going to be dangerous come playoff time. I think not obviously not a top 1 or 2 or probably not even 3 favorite in the AFC, but that AFC is so wide open. If you make the playoffs, you got a chance.
no, absolutely. It's so wide open. We'll see what we'll continue to watch what happens there. Bro, I want to give you credit on a pick, okay? Your boy Jameis Winston, not only does he know the body parts extremely well that he can explain it at a third grade level, but he also can go out there and eat them W's going 27-26 over the Falcons. Hey, I'll say though, Marcus Mariota didn't look bad.
No, no, not at all. And the Falcons, I took a very aggressive approach at the Falcons this year. I think their over under was what, at like 5.5 or
Yeah,
something like that. And I think I picked the Falcons to win 7 or 8 games, which is crazy. A lot of people had them, finishing as one of the worst teams in the league. They did lose. They did do what the Falcons do and blew a double digit fourth quarter lead. Oh
I'm good
my
at that.
god. Another game where they were over 90% win probability in the fourth quarter. And it just happens too much time and time and time again for the Falcons over the past 5 years. Um, it's rough. Tom Brady broke this team, and
Yeah, and they
um,
have
they
not recovered since.
they have not recovered. I was a little shocked that the Saints came out as flat as they did to start this game,
Yeah.
but I still think, and especially after watching the Bucks and Cowboys game, I still think the
Oh,
Saints
we'll
win
get
this.
to that.
I still think the Saints win this division. I'm not wavering from that after 1 week. Uh,
Completely disagree.
I can't. I don't know, but like the Bucks didn't look good. The Saints didn't look good. The Falcons looked all right. The Panthers didn't look great. I think this division might be a lot weaker than people thought it was going to be. I mean, despite having even the Falcons and the Panthers in it.
No, honestly, and on the Saints offense looks like it's ready to rock and roll. I think the main storyline around a lot of these teams and the kind of the theme we saw was just offenses not being able to get a good start. And I feel like every offense just started so slow this week. You know what I mean? Like Eagles and Lions, let's go ahead and go there. Yeah, it was 38-35. But bro, it did not feel like a 38-35 game. You know what I mean? It felt like the offenses took a little bit to just get it going, you know?
Well, I mean, the Lions went down what and scored a touchdown on their first possession, and then
Yeah,
um, and the Eagles scored, and then what? Goff threw a pick six, and then the Eagles scored again, or the Eagles scored twice, and then Goff threw a pick six, and then the Lions started climbing back into this game after getting themselves in a little hole.
yeah.
There is no doubt that there is some fight in this Lions team.
Grit,
The
Noah.
Detroit,
There's fucking grit.
they are gritty. This team's going to be okay. They're going to be okay. I don't see them as a playoff team, but they're going to win some games.
Hey, let's take a
And
moment, Noah. Hold on. This is the first time we are saying the Lions are going to look okay.
yeah,
That's a big moment here on the show, on any sports show, really.
yeah, it's It's a turning of a leaf. It's a new era.
Yeah.
I don't know. They looked okay. The Bears somehow looked okay.
Hey, 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 the Bears look
Packers
good.
actually the Packers looked the worst out of any of the NFC North teams this week.
All right, no, let's sit there for a second. Let's talk about the Packers because I got some thoughts on this. This is not the first time they've obviously lost a week one game. They lost last year, excuse me, really bad in week one, leading to the Packers to be severe underdogs week two, and we cashed in big on that. Looking for that to happen this year. But I mean, nothing was clicking offensively, defensively. I understand it's week one. Rodgers probably still coming down from his last ayahuasca trip or something like that. But just nothing was clicking on that end, whereas the Vikings looked like a well oiled machine. I mean, Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, just Kirk Cousins. I can't believe I'm saying this. Kirk Cousins looked like a half decent quarterback for once in his life. What are
Yeah.
your thoughts, bro? Like, how you feel about the Packers going into week two? Because I think it's fine. I think this is
Uh,
par
I
for the
don't.
course. Like, I'm not worried.
Yeah, Packers now after this loss, 1-3 record under Matt LaFleur in Week 1, where they've put up in those three losses 3 points, 7 points, and then I think it was either 10 or 13 was the other loss. So um, we have not looked good in Week 1 any of the 4 seasons under Matt LaFleur now. And Packers have still won 13 games every single year. So I am not stressing at all right now. Plus, combine that with the fact that, like, defense still held him to 23. I get Justin Jefferson was a problem, but this Vikings offense, brand new offensive scheme and
Yeah,
playbook, which they deliberately showed none of during preseason.
of
So the
course.
Packers defensively had no film to watch on what this Vikings offense was going to look like, and it was a complete guessing game. And the Packers guessed wrong and didn't make enough adjustments in game. I think when they play at the back end of the season, I think the Packers are going to get them back big time in Green Bay, especially. And I'm not worried at all about it. Again, the Packers have looked very flat in Week 1 almost every year under Matt LaFleur, so I expect a big comeback next week against the Bears in Lambeau.
Yeah, Sunday night football, that will be a fucking game and a half. I'm beyond excited about that. And let's just talk about the Bears really quick. I don't have a lot of good to say or bad to say because this was a game controlled by the weather. But from what we did,
Exactly.
yeah, this was, and I was watching the game with my dad, and I looked to my dad once I saw the kickoff, and I was like, this is Bears weather. Slam the plus 6.5, slam the under, and let's have ourselves a half decent Sunday. And all of that hit. Shout out to the Bears. Shout out to Justin Fields. Trey Lance, though, obviously the story coming out of this game, not a fair assessment for his first time out there. No, I refuse to judge him based off of this game. I know you were coming out saying this was another preseason game, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, you didn't know about the rain being such a factor in the weather, but I say Trey Lance starts off clean slate next week, and he should with 49ers fans. You should not discount or take anything into account for what happened in this week one game. And I hate to say this about Trey Lance, but at least give the kid a fair shot. You know what I mean? In half decent
Yeah.
weather.
Oh yeah, I am completely throwing out anything and everything from both teams in this game because
Yeah.
of how rainy it was. There were Yeah, I mean, the field was so wet, there were pools of water in certain parts of the field. Like, um, that's just, chalking this one up to the weather completely. I'm not making excuses for the outcome of the game at all. I'm just saying I don't think there's any solid takeaways you can take from either team's offense or defense on this game because of how wet and sloppy it was on the field.
Not at all. And last thing I want to touch on the morning games, Noah. The Patriots are, in Patriot, mid like early season form. They always suck in the beginning of the season. Tyreek Hill, though, and Tua Tagovailoa not going to be an issue on that connection.
I don't know though. I mean, like, here's my thing. Like, Tyreek keeps running his mouth, and whatever. Fine. I don't care. But the Dolphins didn't look particularly impressive. They don't get that defensive touchdown, and you're talking about maybe a 13-7 win. Um, I'm not overly impressed by the Dolphins, and I'm even less impressed by the Patriots. So
Oh, beyond less impressed by the Patriots.
I
I
don't
honestly can't believe they took
I
a
don't
step
think
back from last year.
I don't think after my week one overreaction is I don't think either of these teams are playoff teams.
I'll give you the Patriots. Not sure about the Dolphins. Noah, what? Let's talk about the afternoon games. We already talked about the Packers, but I want to
Are
talk
we
about the
just
Tennessee. What
you're just gonna breeze over the Ravens and the Jets?
the fuck you want me to say? Lamar Jackson was Lamar Jackson. Joe Flacco was exactly who we thought he was going to be. The Jets still
Yeah,
suck.
true. That game.
Sauce Gardner is the best thing about the Jets.
Yeah, I guess that's true. My only take on that game is it went about how it probably should have.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I didn't want to fucking talk about it. But let's talk about a game that surprised the shit out of me, and that was the Giants Titans going literally to the last second. Danny Dimes and the Giants offense being able to pull it off. I mean, bro, I don't know what to like. Saquon was on another level. Saquon seems to be all the way back from his injury. Uh, Tannehill was serviceable, but not going to win any football games. And you can't rely on Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry played great, but eventually everyone figures out stack the fucking box when Derrick Henry's in the backfield.
Yeah, I think losing AJ Brown is going to be a bigger deal than a lot of people,
Way bigger.
including myself, were paying attention to. Danny Dimes though going 17-21, two tutties
He
and an
didn't look
interception.
fucking bad. He didn't look fucking bad, dude. One interception, I'll take it with him.
Yeah, I mean Tannehill had a decent game, but the Giants defense did a really good job holding Derrick Henry to only 3.9 yards a carry.
That's
Um,
big.
Tennessee just they got to figure out who the fuck they're going to throw the ball to.
Yeah, you gotta be
When
able to throw the ball to someone.
like that's my thing with like AJ Brown is I think he was enough of a threat that it opened up. Derrick Henry's still going against a lot of stacked boxes, but they might be even more stacked with no, viable receiving threats there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a rough go for the Titans if they can't figure out something in the pass game. But we'll see how that develops. Let's
They
talk
are
about
in the shittiest. They are in the shittiest division though. So
And Noah, I would like to end the night with the three games I was absolutely right about. My Arizona Cardinals looking like absolute dog shit against the Kansas City Chiefs. 44-21 the final score. They didn't stand a chance. They did not stand a chance the entire game from kickoff until the final play. They didn't stand a chance. Kyler Murray looked like he's been playing more COD than anything in his life after all of this. Our receivers decided to forget how to catch balls. James Conner is the only thing worth mentioning on our offense who can run for his life. But Patrick Mahomes stole the show yet again, making Tyreek Hill almost feel like he was never a part of this offense, bro. Unbelievable. Shout out to the Chiefs. Cardinals are going to have a rough 6 games without DeAndre Hopkins.
yeah, I mean the Chiefs are one of only two. There's only been two teams week one that I've actually been
Yeah.
like impressed with, and that's the Chiefs and
Yes.
probably the Bills. Although I
Eh.
still question the Bills with the number of turnovers they had. Although they seem to not really be phased by that at all. The Chiefs definitely look like the most impressive team of week one to me.
Yes.
And
100% Noah.
and I don't know if there's an extra fire lit under their ass from everybody, you know, picking other teams in the division over them for, despite the fact that they've, won that division, what, 6, 7, 8 years in a row, whatever the hell it
6 years
is.
in a
And
row.
they've,
Yeah.
and made it to 3 consecutive AFC championship games. Yet somehow people are discounting them and sleeping on them. Yeah, I think the Chiefs are on a revenge tour. This is why I picked them. Especially, I'm like, you're giving me like almost plus 300 odds for the Chiefs to win the division. Until they don't win the division, I'm not straying away from that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't like even if the Cardinals had D Hop, I don't think it makes that much of a difference.
No, not at all.
They still gave up 44 points.
And Kyler Murray didn't look up for snuff, even if D Hop was there, bro.
Yeah, I mean, they still gave up 44 points. It is going to be a rough 6 weeks. They are going to get a little bit better when they get D Hop back because,
It's not going to replace Chandler Jones.
Hollywood Brown is not a wide
Not
receiver
the
one.
fucking answer. Whoever said he was, honestly, I hope you watched that game and was like, ate shit. Honestly. And to the guy at the gym wearing the Cardinals jersey, I that said the Cardinals were going to win this game. I hope you watched this game and cried and
Hmm.
remembered when I said Kyler Murray ain't shit, bro. Anyway, I got my anger out. Let's talk about a team I'm happy about, Noah. Can we do that?
Yeah, sure.
And that's my team to win the Super Bowl, that being the Los Angeles Chargers, coming out, winning at home 24-19. Justin Herbert, unbelievable, 26 for 34, 279 yards, 3 touchdowns, 129.4 QBR. Derek Carr didn't look half bad either, but Noah, turnovers was the name of the game.
Yep.
And the Chargers are winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, this was, obviously the story of the game, the difference maker in the game being that 3-0 turnover differential, Carr's 3 interceptions that he threw. The Chargers defense very much looking improved. And yeah, they look good. The crazy thing though is, Carr takes a little bit better care of the ball, makes a little bit better decision making on some of those, even one or two of those picks. The Raiders might have won this game still. And
Would have.
I do think these might be two of the best teams in the NFL here.
Yes. Oh, I'm with you, Noah.
This could be both of these teams could be top 5 teams in the NFL this year. So the Chargers got to give credit where credit is due, but the Raiders clean up those turnovers a little bit, and they're going to be pretty dangerous as well. So.
And just for the record, J.C. Jackson was injured, and he'll be back eventually. And also Devontae Adams, just because it's worth noting, 10 receptions, 141 yards, 1 touchdown. Not
Yeah,
bad for the
monster game.
college best friend.
And roommates, can't
Yeah,
forget about that.
All good. But let's go ahead, Noah. Sunday Night Football Buccaneers went to Jerry World and proved that the Dallas Cowboys literally ain't worth a goddamn thing. 19-3, only points for
Well,
the.
well, well, well.
Oh, whoa, whoa, what?
Let's not say the Bucks proved that. The Cowboys proved that they're not worth a goddamn thing.
Fair enough. In Jerry World, not looking good. Big story coming out of this game. Dak Prescott breaking his hand in the end of the third quarter. I'm sorry, excuse me, towards the end of the fourth quarter. Had hand surgery today. It went well. He will
So
be out for
two
4 to.
months.
Huh?
What'd they say? 2 months he's out, or
4 to 6 weeks is the last thing I saw.
okay?
So I mean, not a lot, not a bad turnaround time, but I mean, you're missing a substantial amount of games, and Cooper Rush is going to be the guy that comes in for you. If I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm not too excited about the rest of the season. Buccaneers need to shapen up, though, Noah. I will give you that. Look not solid on offense with way too many false starts and just sloppy play all around. The defense didn't really look impressive. They could stop the Cowboys offense. So really, what is the Cowboys offense besides CeeDee Lamb and what's that fucker's name?
Ezekiel Elliott, Tony
Not Ezekiel
Pollard.
Elliott, Tony Pollard. Thank you. Those are the only two guys worth a damn on that offense. And so I'm excited to see the Buccaneers play against a team that's worth half a shit. But the Cowboys are going to be bad. And that's the big story. Cowboys are just going to be bad the next couple this year.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, not a positive way to
Yeah.
turn it. They have a lot of injuries and everything, so you can give them that, but that's about all you can give them.
Yeah, it's okay. They're gonna have a bad season, miss the playoffs. Mike McCarthy's gonna get fired, and then they're gonna hire Sean Payton as the coach,
Yep.
and then
Yep.
we'll see what happens from there. But um, the Bucks look very unimpressive as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Tom Brady didn't look up for stuff. He was 18 for 27, 212 yards, one tutty.
Well, the fact that they couldn't even put up a touchdown until 3.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Um, I mean, God, I didn't even watch the end of the game. It was 12-3 in the fourth quarter, and I'm like, I got to work tomorrow. I'm going to bed. Like this game's
Yeah.
boring as shit, anyways. And I called that part of it. I
Mhm.
when we were handicapping this, I was like, I hate this game. Hate everything about this game. I didn't expect it to be as low scoring as it was, but I expected it to be a shit game, and it really lived up to that.
No, it really did. It was the worst of the worst. And honestly, to a slow start to the NFL week one, happy football's back, but just a slow start all around. The good teams that we thought we were good, that were good, might not be good. The great teams are great, but the bad teams might not be bad. It's a rough, turbulent time. But Noah, God damn it, you know what we should do this week? We should handicap the entire fucking slate again.
Oh, I think we will.
So fuck yeah, we will. That's why you need to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you know when we release our college football. I mean, excuse me, NFL Week Two best bets, locks, and predictions. You can also hit the link tree down below and hit our socials. Follow us on all of that. Noah, you have anything else to say about Week One of the NFL before we sign off?
Yeah, our Monday night nightcap. If you're not paying attention to it, we're kind of recording live here during the third quarter. Seattle holding on to a 4 point lead, so we'll have to find out if Seattle can keep this lead, if they can pull the upset against Denver and Russell Wilson's return to Seattle.
I'm hoping Russell Wilson spent halftime, just fake, doing plays by himself, you know what I mean? And just kind of getting in the zone and breaking huddles and stuff so that we can get the plus 6.5, the minus 6.5 here. With that being said, I've been the Brofict One AJ. That's been the Money Train Noah, and we will see you next time on Degenerate Takes.